A hot topic in the Pokemon community right now has to do with Pokemon Legends Arceus and whether the starters in that game could get new forms for their evolutions. Starters having alternate forms has been a popular idea amongst the fanbase for a while, which is why I started a video series where I ask the question, what if the starters had different final evolutions? I've already made a couple videos in this series for the Johto and Kanto starters, and today, since Sinnoh is kind of the thing these days, we're gonna skip Hoenn for a sec and create brand new final evolutions for the Sinnoh starters. Remember that these aren't meant to be replacements for Torterra, Infernape, and Empoleon, but rather something that Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup could evolve into in a world where their original final evolutions didn't exist. Basically, it's just a fun experiment, and it's one that wouldn't be possible without the support of today's amazing sponsor, Ridge Wallet. So if you're a person who has to carry around money, credit cards, an ID, etc. around with you every day, which I know you are because you're a human being, then you need to get a Ridge Wallet. It can hold up to 12 cards plus cash, and it does so while maintaining its slim, sleek look, so you'll be able to carry it around without even hardly noticing that it's in your pocket. I've been using a Ridge Wallet myself for years now, and I can personally tell you that I will never go back to a regular wallet ever again. But you don't just have to believe me. These wallets also have 40,000 5-star reviews online, they come in over 30 colors and styles, they have RFID blocking technology to keep your credit card information safe, they come with a lifetime warranty, and if for some reason all of that doesn't do it for you, they also come with a 45-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk to at least try one out. And as if that wasn't good enough already, you can also get 10% off on one of these wallets with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/hoops and entering code HOOPS at checkout. The link for that will be in the description. Ridge have been a huge supporter of the channel for a while now, and they are a big reason why I've been able to do some of the bigger projects that you guys have enjoyed so much. So be sure to show them some love and pick up a wallet with the link below, and thank you again to them for supporting the channel. Okay, so first things first, let's start with Tertwig. When coming up with a new final evolution for Tertwig, I also wanted to consider what I wanted to do for the Sinnoh starters as a whole. You see, starter Pokemon sometimes have themes that they share as a group, and with Sinnoh being all about its myths and legends, I thought that Japanese myths and legends would be a great theme for them to share, since Sinnoh is also based on the Hokkaido region of Japan. This proved to be a great starting point, as it made trying to figure out what I should base these evolutions on a lot easier, and in Turtwig's case, this is the final result of all that brainstorming that went into its evolution. Meet Tortector, the Guardian Pokemon. Going along with the theme of Japanese mythology, Tortector is based on Genbu, a legendary guardian spirit that is said to protect the city of Kyoto. It is said that it protects the city's northern side, which I thought worked well considering that Sinnoh is the northernmost of the Japanese Pokemon regions. This is also why Tortector is a grass steel type, to symbolize this protection and guardianship that serves as its inspiration. As you probably already noticed, Tortector's shell is unique as well. It is modeled after a classic Shinto shrine, not only because of the mythology connection, but because Genbu, Tortector's inspiration, is said to be represented by the Kenkun Shrine, a Shinto shrine that sits at the north end of Kyoto and also protects the city. Speaking of Genbu, it also has other names as well, and is also known as the Black Tortoise, and is more than just a tortoise even, as it is classically depicted as a tortoise that is also intertwined with a snake. This is why we gave Tortector a snake-like tail, and why its shiny is primarily black in color, to symbolize its inspiration being known as the Black Tortoise. Finally, its name comes from tortoise and protector, literally describing what it is and what it does. And while as a starter Pokemon, its basic ability would just be Overgrow, I think that Sturdy would be a good hidden ability for this Pokemon, as it fits perfectly with its theme of protection. Moving along, our next starter is of course going to be Chimchar, and Chimchar gives us a bit of an interesting challenge for its evolution. While we obviously want this new final evolution to be different than Infernape, there's a bit of a problem in that Monferno, the middle evolution of this family, is already a firefighting type, just like Infernape. So basically, we're gonna be pretty much stuck with the firefighting type as well for this new evolution. However, that doesn't mean that we can't come up with something cool and different to Infernape, and what we ultimately came up with is Giblaze, the martial artist Pokemon. Now, before we go any further, I just want to say that the art for these Pokemon was drawn by Alestiva076, and he did a great job obviously, so be sure to check him out with the link in the description. Anyway, when it comes to Giblaze and what inspired its design, I again looked to Japanese mythology, and although I was limited thanks to Monferno locking me into that firefighting type, I actually ended up with something that worked pretty perfectly. Giblaze is inspired by Sarutahiko Okami, a Japanese monkey deity who is also seen as a patron of various martial arts, such as Aikido, fitting in perfectly with the fighting type. Giblaze is also based on a gibbon, a type of ape that is commonly seen as more superior and even supernatural in Japanese and Chinese culture, which is why Giblaze does not have a tail, because gibbons don't have tails. But it also fits in well with this Pokemon also being based on a deity. Its appearance was also roughly based on Sarutahiko Okami as well, as he is commonly depicted with a large beard, so a fire beard was given to Giblaze to coincide with that, and to also contrast with Infernape's fire hair. This is its shiny, and all there is to it, to be honest, is that it looks cool, but for shinies, that's as good a reason as any. And finally, its name also comes from Gibbon, the type of ape it is based on, and Blaze, because it's a fire type. Its hidden ability, meanwhile, because its ability would also be Blaze, just like every other fire starter, is Unseen Fist, which right now is exclusive to Urshifu, but it honestly fits Giblaze perfectly, and since the two Pokemon are kinda based on similar things anyway, I think it'll be fine for Giblaze to have. And last, but certainly not least, we have Piplup. With Piplup's final evolution, we have more freedom than we did for Giblaze, since we don't have any dual typings to worry about with its pre-evolutions. However, we do still want to stick with the Japanese mythology theme. I also really like how Empoleon is based on an Emperor Penguin, because honestly that just makes sense for the final evolution of a Penguin Pokemon, so I decided to use those two things as a basis and see if I couldn't come up with something cool, and boy did I ever. After some research, what we ultimately ended up with for an alternate final evolution to Piplup is Rularo, the archery Pokemon. Admittedly, this does kinda have some Decidueye vibes to it, but for a very good reason. Rularo is primarily based on Emperor Jimmu, the very first emperor of Japan. This sticks with the Emperor Penguin motif that I wanted to retain from Empoleon, but also uses the Japanese mythology theme as well, which turned out perfect. The archery aspect comes in because in pretty much every picture that you can find of Emperor Jimmu, he is depicted with a bow and arrow, so the archery theme was given to Rularo as well to illustrate this influence. As part of this mythical inspiration, it has also gained the Psychic type and is now Water Psychic, and it uses these psychic powers to shoot its mystical arrows. It's also worth mentioning that Emperor Jimmu, who serves as the main inspiration for Rularo, is said to be a descendant of Amaterasu, the Japanese sun goddess, and this actually connects back to our fire starter Giblaze. He, again, is based on the deity Sarutahiko Okami, and is one of only 7 Japanese kami to also have the title of Okami, with another one of them being Amaterasu, which overall helps to form even more of a connection between these starters as a group. Also, I wasn't super strict on this next thing, but each of the starters also kind of have a specialty as well, as Tortector is all about defense, Giblaze is all about physical attack with its fighting type, and Rulero is about special attack with its psychic type. Anyway, back to Rulero, this is its shiny, and it comes from that connection to Amaterasu that I previously mentioned, so the colors are sun-themed, and I also thought that this could serve as a cool inspiration for a new hidden ability as well. What I have in mind is something that would basically be the ability form of the move Scald, and give any water-type attacks that the user has the chance to burn the opponent when they are used. I don't know if that's too powerful or not, but it sounds cool, so I'm just gonna go with it. And finally, we also have the name to talk about. Rulero comes from ruler, as in the ruler of something, because it's based on an emperor and an emperor penguin, and arrow, because its motif revolves around archery. Overall, I think this group of alternate Sinnoh starter evolutions turned out pretty good. For me, it's hard to pick between Giblaze and Rulero for my favorite, because I love how Rulero turned out, but I also might actually like Giblaze more than Infernape, which for me is a big deal. What do you guys think about these designs though? Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you enjoyed the video, because it really does help out a lot. With that said, I will be back with another video very soon, and until then, as always, I love you all, thanks for watching, and I will smell you guys later.